Hey boo, hey y'all. It is day 12 of the Diddler trial. It's starting to seem like it's going on for a long time now. We are still only in the third week, and we have about, maybe 5 more weeks to go, maybe 4. Perhaps we're at least halfway through the trial. Anyway, today we had Deonte Nash finish himself on the stand, and then we had Mia. We finally got Mia on the stand, the second victim that got away the first week of the trial, but they found her, they got her, they brought her in, and she testified. Now let's get into the rest of Deonte Nash's testimony. Baby, from what everyone in the courtroom that was in there and has reported about what happened, honey, Deonte was having a really good time messing with Diddy. As soon as he was asked a question, he was giving it with like sarcasm, but answering the question as he should have. But he was giving a little bit of sarcasm. He was giving a little bit of something. And he was giving a lot that was pissing Diddy off. Every time he would say certain things, like they would say Cassie and they would say Ventura, but then he would say, "You mean Mrs. Fine? She's married now." And he just kept bringing that up. It was making Diddy just seething. Diddy was in a hot seat, and he was the one hot, honey. He was the one making it hot. He was pissed. He brought up the fact that, I introduced her to Michael B. Jordan. He's a fine man. She's a fine woman. Why not, basically? And he very much doubled down on the fact that, no, Cassie and Diddy were not together during this time. And how can you cheat on a cheater? How can you cheat on Diddy, someone who is constantly beating on you and essaying you and just treating you like shit? How is that cheating? That's what I don't understand. Was she just supposed to keep taking it because he's Diddy? Come on, he's just Diddy at that. He ain't even nobody that's special. He's just Diddy. He had a whole bunch of money. He had connections. The only thing was that Diddy is a very dangerous man, and you can talk to anyone who knew him then and knows him now. Diddy is a very dangerous man. Obviously, if you think it's cool to just, trespass onto someone's property and blow up their car with intentions to possibly blow up their house and possibly, allegedly, murk them, yes, very dangerous man. Especially when you have anyone in your corner who is too damn scared to tell you no to do anything about it. So, of course, that is the most type of dangerous man, period. Now, the thing is that Diddy was on one also this morning. He had the nerve to want to have everybody's testimony thrown out in the past 2 weeks. Yeah. He wanted Capricorn's testimony thrown out. He wanted Cassie's testimony thrown out. He wanted the woman who talked about Cassie and why she was with her, the expert. He wanted her shit thrown out. He wanted Kid Cudi's testimony thrown out. Yeah, he was tripping. He wanted Capricorn's testimony thrown out about the abuse and the murking and the whole Kid Cudi story. He wanted Deonte's testimony thrown out, but like all of it. He wasn't even finished yet. He wanted Cassie's thrown out for everything that she said about, and he wanted Capricorn's thrown out. He wanted everyone's thrown out. What world are you in, sir? Like the delusion. I just don't understand. In what world did you actually think you were going to get these things thrown out? It is not happening. It didn't happen. That is the most absurd thing. That just goes to show you Diddy is just scrambling at any little itty bitty titty thing. And of course Tisa told me, first of all, how dare I? Forgive my manners. Everything that I've gotten today is from Tisa and also attorney Simone Redwine. Yes, attorney. Yes, Simone. Simone. Anyways, so Um, so just to say, close to $17 million that Diddy is at spending on his team. And you would think that they would do better than this by now. You would think $17 million will buy you something better than just wasting the judge's time. The judge is really done with Diddy and his whole entire team. The way that they are taking up all of this time, the way that they took up the time with Deonte by asking him the most silliest questions, spending like way too long just trying to figure out what a stylist is. Can we just look it up in the dictionary and get the hell on? Like, really, we've got things to do. We are not here for the BS. Let's get this going. Let's get this show on the road. You know, we've got things to do. So yeah, they just been really playing in the judge faces this whole time. Wasting time with exhibits, wasting time with the wrong thing, with these silly questions. You know, Diddy, they really were not prepared. And it goes to show every single day it seems like they are just winging it. At this point, that's all they're doing is winging it. At this point, I am convinced that these lawyers are really bottom of the barrel broke and will do anything they can to make a buck. And they decided to defend Diddy. And they're going to see this all the way out to the end as long as Diddy is willing to give them their money. They know that Diddy's not getting off, but they will still take that money and assure him that maybe, just maybe, possibly, just possibly, you will not be living with the rats and roaches and mice and all the feces that they have for the rest of your life. Now, you are in the exact boat that you wish you never had to be back in. Look at you now. Karma is a bitch. It has come full circle for his ass. So once Deonte was finished, Diddy was seething. He could see that Deonte was playing in his face with his answers. And of course, you have the little Diddies and Janice Combs front and center, still trying to intimidate this man. I don't know why they're allowing it. I mean, they got to allow this man to have his support system there, even though he made Alice get out the courtroom and wouldn't allow him to be there to be Cassie's support system. But hey, what is what it is. So after Deonte got off the stand, it was Mia's turn. Now, y'all, everyone that I have watched about Mia's testimony, they all said the same thing. It was nothing like they had ever seen before. First of all, Mia came in. You could tell she did not want to be there. That was the last place on earth she wanted to be, physically and mentally and emotionally. She did not want to be there. So I wonder, is she really the reason why she didn't come the first week, or was it something that Diddy did? But we all know it was something that Diddy did. Let's not even go there, because Mark Agnophilia was just so, so on point with Mia isn't coming. Like, you just knew. How did you know, sir? How did you know? But anyway, Mia showed up. Her hair, her bangs was just over her face like she didn't want to be seen. The way that they are told that she walked in very mini shuffling in, she looked like she had just been tormented all of her life, and she just came out of a dark room that she's never been let out of before. But come to find out, she has not told a single soul about what happened to her. She was going to take this to her grave. She never went and told anyone. She never made a report. She never seeked out justice. She never seeked out to get paid from him. She never seeked out to sue him. She wanted nothing to do with him. She just wanted to take it to her grave. She never wanted to relive this moment again. So here she is 15 years later, finally speaking on it, basically for the first time. Now, of course, she had to finally tell the lawyer when she finally got a lawyer, because when the feds get into place, you have to get a lawyer. So when she did, she had to tell the lawyer everything. And that was the only time she has ever did that. And now here she is having to answer these questions about this night in public in front of everyone. And they said every time she spoke, it was like a broken woman, just broken inside. Like, she has never recovered from those moments with Diddy, ever. Now, it seems like all the other girls or other victims got a chance to experience the good side of Diddy for, a little bit of time. Cassie would say, even Carisha would say, like, look, I never even got that far with him. He was good to me. He probably never got that far with Carisha. Carisha got out just in time, all right? But as far as Capricorn Clark and, Cassie and the other victims, they say that, the first 6 months to a year, everything was beautiful. Everything was gravy. Everything was normal. And then at some point, it's just like, bam. Well, for Mia, who is an alias because she has another lawsuit that she is under, a civil lawsuit that she is under. So the judge allowed her to be able to be under this alias. So no, this is not, Mia is not her real name, but she did work for Diddy once upon a time for a couple of months. And in those couple of months, he essayed her several times. At some point, she just started to having to black it out. That is the only way that she could survive doing this. She described 3 different times, at least, that she could recall some of the detail of him essaying her. She went on to say things like, her first time, there was a room in Diddy's house where the employees were allowed to sleep. She was sleeping. She woke up to him on her, all of his weight on her. He shushed her with one hand, undid himself with the other, and did his thing. She just laid there the whole time. She was in shock. She didn't know what to do. It was just like mind-blowing to her. He was just like, shh, you couldn't tell this man no. Everyone who has testified has let everyone know, like, you cannot tell this man no. It's just not part of the job, basically, And it's like Diddy creates this environment to where he makes it so, like, you better not even try it. It's like programming or training them into knowing, like, this is the way things go around here. You can't tell me no. You better say yes, whatever. And then not to say that, you just felt like you couldn't say no. And so not to, what do I want to say? Not to give an excuse for anyone, but could that also be why so many people who saw what was going on didn't do anything? They felt that they couldn't say anything. They felt that they couldn't help them. Because helping Diddy would be like telling him, no, you can't do this to these women. And you couldn't tell Diddy no. You couldn't tell him no. So it's like he created the atmosphere where you bet not. It's like loyalty above anything. I don't care. What I say goes. It was that type. That is the type of man that is just should not be in control. That is the whole point. But anyway, she goes on to tell about another time where she was in a closet and helping him pack. And everyone got out, whatever. They were in the room by himself. He took himself out of his pants with one hand. He took his other hand, put it on her head, guided her head down to his private area, and made her give him fellatio. That is disgusting. And they would ask her, did you ever say no? And she said every time she paused. And at some point she just blacked out because that's the only way she could get through it. And at some point she just blacked out periods where she couldn't even remember the details of the other times where he did in fact essay her. But she just blacked out. She didn't want to remember. She had to take herself to a whole nother place in order to get through it. And then he asked again, you never told him no? She's like, no, I couldn't tell him no. You couldn't tell Diddy no to a sandwich, basically. I couldn't tell him no to a sandwich. And this woman, again, has never tried to get money from this man. She's never tried to extort him. She's never looked for publicity. She's never looked for sympathy, empathy, or anything. She was going to take this to the grave. She was never going to speak on this. But when she finally came to, they said, well, why are you finally here? She said she felt she had a moral obligation because when you tell the truth, you take the power away from this happening again to someone. And I was like, wow. So kudos to her. That was the most bravest thing that anyone could do. Really, really is. So other things to talk about is Lorraine may testify, but she may be testifying on Diddy's behalf, and she may try to once again try to poke holes in Capricorn Clark's testimony. Capricorn Clark's testimony was very, very damning for him. So Diddy's going to try at all costs to try to get that thrown out, or to, you know, try to rub that in any way, shape, or form. What else went down? She does admit that she was thankful that it was very quick, you know, when Diddy did do what he did. And a lot of women said that. It was very quick, and they were at least, you know, when they saw what he was working with, you know, it wasn't as bad as they thought it could be, because he was very little and he was very quick. Again, Diddy is all polluted with all of these rugs that he has been taking, these street medications. So yeah, it was making the man not be able to perform. That is why he was also taking the Viagra and whatever else that he could do to try to get it going, because itty bitty Tootsie Roll wasn't working with nothing. So and then that explains it also. Small D energy. You know, men who have small D's and have erectile dysfunction and all of this, they try to become a man in other ways because they feel that they're less of a man that way. And unfortunately, this is a lot of the routes that they take. They feel that they gotta be in control in the most powerful, damning, most insidious ways. And that's a problem. It must be really little, and it must be really dysfunctional. And maybe that goes to show why he always wanted to have the parties going on, and how much did he or did he not participate, because he was probably shamed. Probably shame. Or probably with the celebrities, because you didn't want that out in Hollywood. And that's probably why so many people that weren't celebrities, just average Joes and average Janes, that he would really do this stuff to. That he felt that, oh, they're never going to tell. No one's ever going to find out. And if so, I'm just going to threaten to murk them. That's what he did. That was his MO.